Wait for it, wait for it. And we are now live. And hello. And welcome to the Geek Battle show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channel, as well as the Geek Battle YouTube channel. Head over to www.youtube.com/@geekbattle. Smash that subscribe, set your phasers to stun, get ready to use the force, and here comes the fun, because this is Geek Battle. On the show tonight, we're going to have all kinds of crazy fun, play a few games here and there, talk about some geeky stuff, and work out who is this week's Geek of the Week. Now, on the show, we are going to begin with our intros round, where our performers will introduce themselves and give a random geek trivia fact in the quest for the bonus point. To kick things off here, starting things off, Gerald, say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody. I think I was very bad and I forgot what my geek fact would be, so I'll have to come back.
Oh, that's going to be a minus point there to kick things off, but we'll see if you can earn that back in a moment. Nick, say hello to the people.
Hello. And my geek fact of the week is I have been to Disney World every year for the past 25 years on my birthday. Because I am a big Disney child. I'm aware of this. And I get made fun of that by my friends every time I go. And you know how many fucks I give? 0.
You know what?
Good job.
At the start, I was going to be like, well, this sounds more like a Nick fact than a geek fact. But to be honest, for the way you followed it up, I'm going to give you the bonus point.
Yes!
Okay, Tim, do you have a Tim fact or a geek fact for us this week?
I have what I perceive to be a geek fact in how I think that there's like this kind of qualifying or grading system of high or low concept for movie posters. And something that's called high concept is something that you can grasp very easily. And the way that they described it was in a high concept movie poster or a high concept work of art, you're going to know what's being provided to you ahead of time. So if you look at something like Gravity or Interstellar, you're going to know that it's a space movie. But if it's a little bit, I think that there was another poster shown on the article I read that just had Laura, and it was the picture of two people. It didn't really tell enough to be a high concept of what you're grasping, what the situation is. It was just a character piece on two people. So if you're going to understand something, it's also in science fiction and fantasy, it tends to be high concept because you know what you're getting. But with the more realistic piece of fiction, you don't. That's low concept.
That is not only fascinating, it's educational. I've learned something there. You definitely get a bonus point.
Yay! Yeah. Thank you.
That's all right. Well, we're going to circle things back to Gerald. Gerald, can you redeem that minus point with a geek trivia fact for us?
Yeah, I'll try here. So I did recently watch Flash because it came out on HBO Max, and I read a little bit because I hadn't really followed Ezra Miller other than now having watched Flash. I didn't even really know who they were. I did, so then I just decided, okay, we'll check out Wikipedia and stuff. And Ezra Miller claimed back in 2022 that he was, or they were, Jesus, the devil, a new Messiah, and they also thought that the relationship that they had with somebody who later became part of all the problems and stuff, that their relationship was going to bring about the apocalypse. So I'll just leave that out there.
Wow, do you know what? That is definitely worth the point back. You've got your point back. So Jesus, the devil, the Messiah, Uhura from Star Trek. Who else did Ezra think they were?
And they thought that they were bringing about the apocalypse. Oh, wow. And the Freemasons were out to get them.
Okay, sounds like they're having a hard time.
Like,
Yeah.
I asked this somewhat as a light topic, but so I don't intend it to get to a heavy topic if it becomes that. What's the deal with like Hollywood actors where they got loads of money, they can have all the fun things, they could go to Disneyland not just on their birthday, they could go every day. But instead, they just like, I don't know if they do drugs or they get involved in like cult stuff or whatever. What's the deal? Why do we think the rich and famous sometimes go a little bit Macaulay Culkin and just whatever happens there?
So go ahead, Tim.
No, go with this. I like this. Go.
All right. My hypothesis is twofold. One is that they, once they've made it and they have all of the fame and fortune and everything, they have a lot of yes men, women that just let them do whatever they do, or also encourage and sort of, press that type of behavior and stuff. I think the other thing is for the most part, I'm not going to say completely, but there's a certain type of personality that's drawn to those type of things, and it tends to be, that sort of bigger ego type mentality and sort of self-centered mentality. Again, not to say everybody, but that's my two guesses on it. And then I guess if you get bored, if you have more money than anybody else, what else are you going to do for fun? So might as well do something.
Join it, like start a cult.
Yeah.
What else? I've been to Disneyland. Like, as Cruise Princess says on Twitch, friends don't make friends going to Disneyland. It's the happiest place on earth. So yeah, there you go. But like, yeah, I do agree with a lot of what you said. That I think there is like a certain personality type, but it seems weird in like Hollywood that you very seldom get like a Keanu Reeves where everyone's just like, oh, he's a cool dude and stuff like this. Everyone's just a bit bizarre. Tim?
I mean, what is Hollywood if not just a wealth creator? You're giving some people. So, I think that there's a lot of different things that money doesn't actually buy mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And that you go into this wealth creator still the same person you were before. And if there isn't like a system set up where, it's catching your traumas or your addictive tendencies or, whatever you're carrying with you. I know for me, it's some emotional tendencies and responses that aren't good and triggers. Like, you have to catch those.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Hollywood doesn't do a good job of that.
Well, Tim, what I can say there, and I say this in jest, of course, but if you ever make it in Hollywood, just give me the money. I'll handle it for you. We'll keep you in check. Okay, Gerald, brother.
I think the other thing with that too is like sort of some of the dysfunction within Hollywood that has been there for a while. So especially if you look at child actors and actresses, holy crap. And again, there's some people that can make it out that are fairly well grounded and stuff, but I mean, it is sort of a system that's basically chews you up and spits you out as well. So part of it, to like Tim's point, is you have your own baggage and stuff you're carrying with you, but the other thing is it's not really, for the most part, it's not really a nice, fostering, helpful, positive thing.
Like to make it into like sort of a geek battle thing, how many bad guys in the franchises that we follow are almost Weinsteinian? Like if there's a Weinsteinian components of this system and it's played out in different parts, like those are also predatory elements in a money-making system that seek more controlled and creative freedoms. So it's not everyone's bad, but it's like, what are we catching and what are we letting go that needs to be caught?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely. There is the fact that there's the money, there's the control over people and all this kind of stuff. So if people are of the, I guess, disposition to want to manipulate and take advantage of these things, then they'll find those positions. But then on the flip side, if people are like, especially creative people, like people always say, oh, creative people have got their quirks, or creative people are a bit chaotic in certain ways and stuff like this. So creative people probably to some degree will be open to manipulation and people pleasing and all this sort of needing validation and watch you spiral off into whatever direction. That's like, this is like how the Flash got the Flash's powers, basically. So, you know,
that's true. It's like there's also some I don't know if it's a correlation, but you know, some creative type people do struggle with mental illness, and it tends to I can't tell you the statistics behind it, but there is I guess the stereotypical or the trope that there is some madness that's associated, or not madness, sorry. There are mental health issues that are associated with some levels of creativity, but I'm not educated enough to actually comment on that besides my ignorance of it.
I mean, the whole what is it? The whole stigma. There's a thin line between genius and insanity.
Yep.
So
yeah, stigma is the right word. Thanks for bringing that up, Nick. There is a lot of stigma behind that, and it'd be cool to see.
The word I meant was adage, not stigma.
Okay. But, well, I mean, stigma is a big part of it, you know? Like, all of a sudden, Ezra Miller is this thing or that thing, and they're trying to struggle with stuff, but they have this public presence that people are aware of, and I have an opinion on it. And I'm like, I don't, you know, it's like, I don't, the actions that they've taken in some cases, when made public, it can be damaging to a franchise or big, you know, a bigger industry.
Yeah. In the instance of Ezra Miller, like, what happens next? There's not going to be a sequel to The Flash, because one of the stories I noted that I'd spotted when just looking up what's happening in the world is that apparently, like you say, it's on HBO Max, which I don't think we get in the UK in any form. Like, people haven't really watched it on there either, and that has to be really that's really gutting, because if you subscribe to it, then effectively, unless you subscribe to watch that film, you could now watch it for free. Like, it's if you were a subscriber, you could now choose to watch it, and people aren't even choosing to watch it if they've already got it. That's like super bad for that film, and I kind of don't get it, because a few months ago, this film, they were like saying it's like one of the best superhero films ever, and it's like, was that just lies to hype it up, or?
Yes,
it had to have been, because I mean, so Ezra Miller was decent in it with the second Flash character, if you will. I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I don't care. I wasn't really engaged with the primary character. It just seemed awkward. The CGI effects that were mentioned previously on a couple shows back, they were pretty bad. I mean, it looked like it was like 70 to 80% of the way there, and they just sort of bagged it and said, we're just going to kick it out and not finish it. It just, the one thing I really, really, truly though enjoyed was Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
That helped make it better. And you know, when I started off, I was like, man, this thing is bad. It's like a 1 or 2. Now I'm saying maybe 2.5 to 3. It's watchable. I don't know much
out
about
of 5.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know much about the character Flash, but I'm not really drawn to the character anyway to begin with. And it seemed like what they were trying to do is make, and I don't know if this is part of the character in the comic universe, but they were trying to make the Flash be sort of like the jokey, quick wit Spider-Man. And again, I don't know if that's meant, if that was supposed to be how it was supposed to be or not. Yeah, it just, I didn't have connection with the character. And then again, like, some of the CGI effects were definitely overdone. And yeah.
So what you're telling me, if I'm hearing you correctly, is that DC should have created a reason for us to care about the characters, and then do the movies about them, but we can't watch the TV shows because they're in a different universe. Because I love the Grant Gustin Flash from the Arrowverse.
Yep.
And I'm like, there's no reason why they could have. Who did they use for the movie Flash?
Ezra Miller.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't even know that. So I'm like, why would I care about Ezra Miller's Flash when I have no reason to care about Ezra Miller's Flash?
hmm
Yeah.
The other thing was too is that there was a couple Flash TV shows, TV series, I think like maybe in the mid '90s, and it had pretty good reviews overall. And I think the one that was not that long ago that you had referenced, Nick, I think it was getting decent reviews as well. But yeah,
Yeah, it
there's
was.
sort of like a massive disconnect.
I watched it for several years.
Okay,
Yeah.
Grant Gustin, right? How gutted is he? Because when they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths in the Flash TV show, they brought in Ezra Miller and they had this scene. Grant must have been like, "Oh man, they're going to return the favor." And then what was the deal there? Did they not invite? Like, he would have been like, "But there are two Flashes in this film. Why am I not one of them?"
I don't get that. I feel like, it, it's like they half-assed a multiverse thing. You know,
Yep.
it's just
It seemed like they were trying to create something where they could go ahead and reestablish the universe and everything with that multiverse thing. But I mean, the writing, overall, like the writing was pretty bad on it too. And I personally am not a fan of Batfleck, but it just seemed like a lot of the dialogue and stuff, especially like the first half, was like painfully bad. It was like reading Twilight the book, or even worse, the what is it, 50 Shades of Grey the book. I mean, it's like off the charts horrible. It's painful to do. It did,
Why
again,
would
it
you
did
read
improve, but
Hey Gerald, why would you read Twilight to begin with?
well, I did about 10, 15 years ago. I only read the first one when it was all hyped up. And then 50 Shades of Grey, I read the first 50 pages and I couldn't hack any more than that. It just was, and again, it was because of the hype.
Yeah.
I didn't read 50 Shades of Grey, but I did. It is in my house. It's usually on a roll. It goes around, and I spin it, and then crumple it up, and then take care of some business with it.
Yeah, like the weird thing with 50 Shades of Grey, that was initially a Twilight fan fiction, wasn't it? I love that.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Really?
Yeah, it was fan fiction of Twilight, and it was popular, and they turned it into its own story.
Well, you know what? Good for that. There are some people who are like, "Ooh, that gets my engine revved." So, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys. So
Yeah.
on this note, no, God,
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Has anyone seen anything this week? Any movies, shows, comics, trailers, games? What do we want to react to, Tim?
So I have been doing a deep dive into the YouTube summaries of Warhammer 40K, and I'm enjoying it. I'm still not holding my breath for when Henry Cavill decides to jump on that franchise and make it.
And fuck it up. I mean,
hey, you know what? Actually, the way that one of the main characters portrays himself, it's kind of like, ooh, I don't really enjoy this guy, But I'm seeing that, and it's a lot of fun. Warhammer 40K's got a pretty cool lore.
I do like the lore. I fully expect it to be effed up royally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The idea of grimdark is fascinating. I wish they'd throw a little bit of Lovecraftian or Edgar Allan Poe style stuff in it instead of just like, there's lots of war in this universe.
Yeah, but they're not. The Space Marines are going to come and screw it up for everyone. Like they always do.
I don't know a whole lot about Warhammer. I know it's the little figurines and stuff like this. Like, that's where it started, isn't it? Like, how much story is there to it? Is it like something where... Is it like He-Man, where they made the figures and then had to figure out a story around it? Or did it come from something else originally?
So, I have friends who play Warhammer. I have never played it because I find the assembling of the miniatures to be tedious. But my friends who play it like know all the characters, like the colors of the armies mean something. The squads have like each of the squads has different like characters within the squads, and it makes sense to them. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I just want to roll dice and kill things. Can I do that?
From my vague understanding, it's sort of similar to Dungeons and Dragons. So like there is a story of sorts, and I think just over time, because I think Warhammer's probably been around for what 30-ish years, give or
Yeah,
take a
that
little
sounds
bit.
about right.
And I know that there's been a lot of books and stuff written in addition to just the game aspect of it as well. So I'm sure that there's like a mythology and stuff related to it that's just expanded on and on and on. But that's the limit of my understanding of it.
I think there's something like 200 different books written by different authors. But that its lore system, or the system by which the things are created. There tends to be some retcons and things. So it has it's been established, and there's like a hierarchy and organizational systems you can see in charts and graphs and all this sorts of stuff. Layers of good guys, leaders, bad guys, like the grunts versus the leaders and stuff. I haven't played it though, and I'm happy to do like a little bit of Diet Pepsi Dungeons and Dragons with my friends.
Diet Pepsi Dungeons and Dragons.
It's not Coke Zero. There's still calories in it, but it's not Pepsi Zero. See,
this is Pepsi Max. Do you call it Pepsi Max or Pepsi Zero?
It's Pepsi Max probably, but
okay.
There you go, Pepsi. There's the free promos. But I call it Diet Coke Dungeons and Dragons because it's like low key laid back.
Oh, okay.
My favorite thing about Warhammer is there's a race of dwarves that believe fervently that if the vehicle is painted red or black, it goes faster.
Yeah, that's the orcs, right?
Yeah. And if you actually are playing an orc and your vehicle is painted red, like you paint the model red, you actually get 2 extra inches of movement.
Mm-hmm.
I bet there is some actual real world logic to that, because like if I go out and I'm wearing like a black t-shirt, I'll feel the heat a lot more. If I wear like a yellow t-shirt in the summer, you get these little flies. You probably get them stateside as well, but they're like attached to the color. So why shouldn't a red car go faster? That's what I say.
The orcs are a funny. The space orcs are a funny race or faction in Warhammer 40K, because they do have this power where the more they believe in something, the stronger it presents itself in the physical world. Wow. So you could have like if they believe that this dumpster flies, it like this dumpster will fly. They just have to believe in it, and it gives it sort of that almost psychological will, and it's an interesting component to the story and the lore.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like bring up like an illustrative image. I just want to be able to show the image on the side without all of the other stuff. I need to figure out how to do that. But anyway, that's fascinating. Anything more on this? Anyone seen other things?
But just before we start, I would love if Henry Cavill and Warhammer 40K decided to give David you some money to sort of promote the creatives to like, talk a little bit more about Warhammer 40K. It might be good for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like. Well, I need to find out more on this whole subject.
Look, we all know that Henry Cavill follows us.
He should do. Like, I'm going to make it a thing so that it comes up with like balloons or something every time we say Henry Cavill on the show.
It's a grunt party.
Here, and we're still talking about Henry Cavill. So there's probably a way I can do this, actually. Hang on, let's see.
I made sure to cover that. It's like Grunt Party from Halo 2 or 3. Anytime you shoot a grunt in the head, they're like, there's like little fireworks or confetti or something.
I've never played Halo.
You've never played Halo?
I've never played Halo. I'm not a first-person shooter player.
I recommend it, especially the first 3.
I think you missed a couple letters there, but close.
So how do you spell Cavill? Is it double
Henry.
I think there's 2 L's.
I don't
I think
remember.
there's 2 L's and an E.
Screw that then. Like this is N and E.
No,
No,
I don't think there's a
CABILL, 2 L's.
Okay. Right. Well, let's
So-
give this another go.
So Nick, there's this
There we go.
special hack you can do in I think Halo 3 where if you shoot like the weakest bad guy in the head, then the confetti pops up and you hear the weakest bad guy scream out, "Yeah!" It's called Grunt Party. It's a little cruel thinking about how these poor grunts are treated in this universe, but it's also kind of I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny.
Kind of awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone seen other things that they want to react to and stuff?
All right. So I've been rewatching one of my favorite shows of all time, which is The Big Bang Theory. As fellow geeks, what are your thoughts on The Big Bang Theory?
I really like The Big Bang Theory.
I remember having a conversation with my brother while it was airing it was kind of like pandering a little bit and kind of offensive at other points towards geek culture. But I really enjoyed it. Like, for the most part, I feel like it's people that I've actually known and hang out with are like the lead characters. You know?
I mean, it did mainstream geek culture a little bit more.
I really liked the first couple seasons, and as it went on, I didn't like it as much because I
Right.
thought that the story really changed in a direction I didn't care for as much. But overall, I liked it and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of The Big Bang Theory. I think absolutely, like it kind of adds to the idea that it's cool to be geeky, and it shows the characters who are like super intelligent and all that, and they're also of like a not an older age, but older, and they've got like collectibles, and they go to Comic-Con, and they do things that are fun. You know, all of the stuff they do. You know, it's like I appreciate that they shone a light on it, and of course they used a lot of it for humor to sort of like play off the idea of like, oh, they're really geeky and they've each got their individual quirks and that. But for me, The Big Bang Theory was like the closest we've ever got to a true live action of Alvin and the Chipmunks, because the dynamic of it is exactly the same. You have like and I know we had this in Friends as well, but like the 3 girls, the 3 guys, by the end of it, of course, because it didn't have only had Penny at the beginning for the girl characters. And, you know, you've got like the super geeky one. Alvin, I guess, would definitely be Leonard. And then whatever the cool girl one is Penny and stuff like that. You know, I always like that comparison to it.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I was talking about this with a friend of mine years ago, and he insisted that Sheldon was the principal character because he's the one that has the most change and evolution in the series.
Sheldon is the principal character for the fact that the show got cancelled when he quit.
That's true.
Yeah. You know, if like imagine like if Howard had quit, they'd have been like, okay, well, there's no Howard anymore. You know, they'd have just like said he died.
We'll get Tom here, or we'll put Stuart in the role of Howard.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, if Stuart had left, no one was missing that show. Yeah, and that's nothing against Stuart. But
also, I have a great fact about Kevin Sussman, who played Stuart.
You go on.
My friend Brian owned a comic store in New York in the 80s, and the manager of the comic book store was Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart in The Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
Cool.
So I'm like, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
You know, in a weird circular completion way. And he's like, yeah, Kevin. And he was telling me, yeah, I got a call from him. We went out to dinner the other night. He seems super cool.
No, that is cool. Tim, Gerald, are you fans of The Big Bang Theory?
I watch it sometimes, but it's tough for me to sit down and watch TV for too long. You know,
Yeah,
the
sure.
half hour, an hour. There's so many things to do outside, and just
Why
side
would you
jobs.
want to go outside? There's all that nature and grass and trees and shit.
Adventure. Oh, I mean, isn't that what The Witcher's about? Being outside and minus like swords and axes and stuff. Just let's go take on life.
But you know what? Like the thing about like real world adventure and stuff is that I've been to a bunch of places where I'm like, oh, this looks like probably somewhere in The Witcher, but it looks like someone from the Legend of Zelda or Lord of the Rings. It's hard work, all this like walking around in the real world. Like Jesus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was in like it's kind of like a national parky kind of thing. Was I in the Lake District or the Peak District? I can't remember. Somewhere in the UK. I went to both at the end of last year, and I was like jumping across like frozen rocks at a waterfall, and it was really cool. It was so incredibly dangerous. There was like no one else coming along, and if I slipped, I'd have gone straight into like the flowing river, and I totally would have died in that weather. And so,
I'm sure
like, I did is we got the cool photos. Sorry?
I'm sure you could have made your reflex safe to land on the rock.
Well, you know what? Like, I had to jump out on these rocks because the waterfall was at a weird angle that we couldn't photo it because it was like we were behind it. So we had to like clamber across. And then just as I was like halfway back across, a group of people saw that I was doing this, and then they decided to do it too. And I was like, well, this is a mistake. I shouldn't have started this trend. But at least there was about 4 or 5 of them. So, you know, but yeah, I like it. But this like actual adventuring, it's it's much easier just to watch Frodo do it, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's the part of it is like I love being tired and then being able to watch my characters do those adventures.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess for me, I wake up with a ton of energy, and I'm really blessed to have like that situation. So like I get up and I'm like, let's do the things, and then later on in the day, if I'm sufficiently tired, I feel like I can just take it easy and watch Ahsoka laser sword a robot or something, or I don't know, Ezra Miller try and be the Flash / DC Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm failing miserably at that.
Okay. What was I going to say? There was another point I was going to make of this. Oh yeah. So one thing I saw. Oh no! Very quickly before we move on from this. So this may be the controversial one on Big Bang Theory's front. Like, so I assume like everyone here has seen Friends. Which do you prefer, Friends or The Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Oh, Tim isn't sure. Right, I will say I am Team Friends all the way because, like, the criticism I've got, and I think Gerald sort of alluded to something maybe similar. Actually, maybe not at all. But you said you liked it at the beginning, felt it kind of fell off. What I felt it did, and Friends did this as well, is it got very much into like the repeated idea, repeated catchphrase, the things and some of the jokes were Friends did this as well, where they kind of become a parody of themselves in the end.
Friends has moments of genius. I love the episode when they're trying to take the couch of the curly
pivot. But yeah, so with the Big Bang Theory, the thing that rubs me the worst about it is some of the characters, some of their flaws or faults, they never let up on them. If they so often have where Sheldon suddenly says something kind or touching, and they would snatch it back away every single time. It would never just do the right thing. It would always be they'd be like, "Oh, Sheldon," and then whatever he said, the next thing would be something that undoes the character development.
I agree.
Yeah, but like, yes, but other than that, I like both shows, but I am Team Friends. Now, guys, one thing I saw, which I'm going to try something because this I want to demonstrate the positives of being on StreamYard here. Is have you seen? I don't know if you've seen the previous films, but have you seen there's a new Expendables film coming out?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
I know, but I've read some press.
Okay, well, we'll have a little look at it here now, but I'm going to have to use my patented anti copyright screen guard here, so it's going to have these hexagons just so that you
Someone's
can't.
gonna love it.
Yeah, so but we'll check it out for a moment, and you can see what we think of what we're seeing here. Can I even make this full screen? Is that a thing? So it looks like standard expendable stuff. So Statham is back, Stallone is back. I don't know who that guy is, but is that Megan Fox in this one as well? I mean, feel free to react, guys, because they can't hear this.
I want all the blood and guts. Oh, sure. Ooh, Jason Statham with a mean face. Never seen that before.
But like, who else is in this one? They're not really showing many.
Looks
people.
like it's Megan Fox.
Who's in it? Did you say Charlie Sheen?
This one looks terrible.
I love that they're marketing it as
50
like.
Cent?
Yeah, I think quite possibly. Do you know what? There doesn't seem to be the star power in this. Where's Dolph Lundgren? Where's Jean-Claude Van Damme? I don't know who this guy is.
Well, they got to continue this thing, and those guys are getting older and older.
Statham. Is it just the Statham? Stallone.
Stallone and Statham, I think. Yeah.
Wow, Statham gets top billing over Stallone. Okay. Oh, hang on. Let's rewind that. Let's see what their lineup is. So, okay. Oh no, come back. So let's play it. What's their lineup? Okay. Oh man, every time. So it's got Statham.
No, it says Lundgren.
50 Cent. I assume that's Megan Fox, Dolph Lundgren, JAA. Who's that?
Got me.
Tony.
Randy Couture. He was in a previous one. Garcia, is that?
That's the younger guy they were showing. I have no clue who it is. And I'm assuming Couture is Randy Couture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's Weiss? And why do I care?
Okay, so it's still showing them. Okay, so it's every time it shows them, it's gonna.
Oh, there's Dolph.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something.
Why does Dolph in that part of the thing look like a long-haired Eminem?
Because wow, and I hate that. Like I hate that new logo.
Do you know?
Go for it.
This might be good. I hope this don't.
Oh no, this is gonna
don't show anything that's going to get me banned. This is on YouTube, so YouTube don't ban me for whatever they're showing.
This is awesome. I love that they're having a rated R movie, and that it's part of the marketing.
Are
that is like?
Were all the previous PG-13?
I don't know, but I know that they marketed this as rated R in that trailer, and I'm really happy that they listened to the fans when the fans asked for a rated R movie. Like this is,
yeah.
Nice.
I think what happened with because I can't even remember how old the first one is now. It's amazing that when the first one came out, it was the idea that they're all a bit old, and that was 2010. So this
they're expendable.
Wow.
Yeah, but so 2010. That was right around, I guess, when The Dark Knight came out, and after, as much as I love The Dark Knight, it ruined so many films because everything was like, we can be gritty and still be PG and sell toys. And so everything for the next 5 years, like Die Hard came out, and we just had like yippee-ki-yay, mother bang over the sound effect, and stuff like this. Everything was like Terminator, loads of stuff was like suddenly PG films.
Ugh. And Guy Courtney or something in Die Hard with a Vengeance. No, it was Die Hard with a Purpose. I don't remember. Whatever number 5 was.
Die Hard with a salad. I don't know.
Die Hard.
Oh,
Die Harder.
No, okay. So there was Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free and Die Hard.
Live Free or Die Hard.
And then what's the last one called? A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I think it genuinely is.
Why didn't they have any Klingons in that one? Oh, that would have been awesome.
Klingons?
Make the Federation like part of that canon. Like somehow Bruce Willis's character motivates, I don't know, Dr. Data or something. I don't know.
No, go ahead, Dick.
I'm waiting for It's a Wonderful Day to Die Hard.
There you go.
It's a Wonderful Life meets Die Hard. Somebody do
Okay,
it.
so no, it was so Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard, a Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard, which in the UK was called Die Hard 4.0, and then A Good Day to Die Hard.
Die Hardest. That should have been in.
Well,
Like-
why did they never call one Old Habits Die Hard? That's an actual expression.
Ooh.
They literally
And-
could have done that.
I think you just made the name. You got to put that in. Copyright that right now.
Well, yeah. Like I genuinely have suggested that. Like on oh wait, Cap said he could join. When was that? Was that ages ago?
Right now, I just posted in the group chat.
Okay, yeah, okay. So join us, Capelthave. Where are they?
Really nice if we could work on medical technology to, help out people like Bruce Willis, so that way, you can get more Die Hard movies like that.
Well,
just
it's
clone
so
'em,
incredibly sad, the situation with Bruce Willis. Like,
Yeah.
like it's a condition like called aphasia, or there is a condition which is caused by something else, and I can't remember what the latest update on it was, but it's awful. He's basically unable to communicate anymore, and so if you don't know too much about it, over the last 3 years, he made something like 30 films. And some of the stories were that they'd send him like the script or send his team the script, and then 2 days before they'd say Bruce is coming in, but you can only film everything in 1 day. And then they'd turn up having rewritten loads of stuff, and they're like, well, can he be done by midday? And they'd have an earpiece where someone would be saying a line and he'd just repeat it. And there's a story where there was some like stage combat choreography, and he fired a blank, and someone like moved the wrong way, and it was starting to become dangerous. And after the news of his like retirement and everything came out, people started looking at, okay, so people have been commenting Bruce Willis has made 30 films in 3 years or 2 years, something insane like this. How much literally is he being exploited, just being taken places he can't really communicate? He's not in a fit state. How much are they just doing it to get in millions so they can put him on a poster kind of thing? But Tim, you were muted if you were about to.
Wow.
That's sad. I remember hearing something about that he had some issue, but I didn't know like some of the particulars of it. That is very sad.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull up a tiny bit more about what it is. So that there's a news article from like 24 hours ago. Let's see. So this will be brand new.
But it did seem like he was literally in every movie that was coming out, and like there's a ton of like direct-to-video ones that he was in too.
Yeah. Okay. So here it is. So this from like a day ago. Bruce Willis' wife admits that caring for her husband is not easy. I'm not well, and she says he's diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. Wow. So that is just so tragic. 68. So.
Yeah, caretakers deserve a lot of credit for what they do, and it's important to also reflect that even here is she may have a lot of financial resources, but there's other people out there who don't. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, no, like absolutely. Like one of the things, just we could come back to this in a second. I was going to say before we quite lose the thread of it, a crossover that never happened, but was so close to actually becoming a reality, talking about the different names of the Die Hard films, is that they had planned to make Die Hard 24/7, which would have been the crossover of Die Hard and the TV show 24.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
And Jack Bauer. How awesome. Like, I genuinely can't see that as being anything other than amazing.
Like,
there's nothing wrong with that statement at all.
Like Bruce Willis comes in as like an advisor, and then by like hour 13 or 14, he's just ready to kick some ass.
Well, imagine, but like even if because they never cracked the idea of doing a 24 movie, and I was a massive fan. Like the first website I ever ran was a fan site about the TV show 24.
Wow!
So I was such a big fan of 24. And
hey, it's a Kappa phase.
Cap, say hello to the people.
Boo.
Boo.
I'm scared. Oh, whoa. There you go.
How are you doing, Kat?
I don't know. I don't have the Looney Tunes background, so I can't open with What's Up, Doc.
Is that The Witcher?
No, it's the Lionel Johnson. So, hail?
Nice. 40K.
We were talking about that right. Where were you 20 minutes ago?
Sorry?
Where were you 20 minutes ago? We were talking about 40K.
I was not in 40K. Also, you can call it an exam in a 40K. I was helping someone with an exam, and I had to eat dinner, and I didn't think I could finish before the show ended, but I did. And
it's terrible when you finish early, Kat. You know, it's just like heartbreaking. Okay.
Well, we all get to go home earlier if that's the case, so sometimes it's not bad. Oh.
So, Cap, we were just talking. I'm not going to backtrack. Did you know they was making an Expendables 4?
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer?
I have not, but I know Jackie Chan's going to be in it.
Is he?
Oh, they didn't even mention it on.
They didn't mention that. Like that would totally get me absolutely on board with this again.
That was the thing, the big thing they were talking about when they actually were filming the whole thing. There was like articles coming in like Jackie Chan was going to be in the new Expendables, and I was like, yes!
I need to check this out. Like, yeah, so this, I'll just come back to it, the Expendables. So it had like a cast list, and it does seem quite weak, because like the first one, it got obviously Stallone and Statham, Jet Li, and I think Jet Li's had some health problems and
Stone Cold,
Steve Austin, yeah.
The
second one, and obviously it had cameos of Bruce Willis and Arnold. The second one, they were in it a lot more, and then the third one, Bruce Willis, didn't do it, and then but like the second one, Van Damme was the villain. The third one, I think Mel Gibson was the villain. This one, they don't even have like Dolph Lundgren's back, and that's great. But it feels like by this stage, Nick Cage should have been in this. You know, if there had been the Expendables with Nick Cage, with Jackie Chan, you know, who else hasn't been in the Expendables that should have? Keanu Reeves.
Will Smith.
Here's the thing. Keanu Reeves would not have to do the Expendables because Keanu Reeves has something they don't have anymore. He has a career.
Yeah. But it does feel like there needs to be a new Expendables, like with the generation that is slightly like not to say that Denzel Washington has fallen down, but he's doing a bunch of Equalizer or whatever those films are now. It feels like it's about time that he jumped on the Expendables.
Gosh, you know what would be cool is if Jennifer Lawrence was in it. Be like, she still has a career though, but it'd be like, you know, former action stars, and she was in, you know, the Hunger Games and stuff. Give her a bow and arrow. Let her be like Legolas or something.
She could be the only one who's shooting it. But like the reason I really liked the last one I had slight problems with because they didn't involve the old cast so much. But they got the guy who played Zorro and Puss in Boots is like a really good actor. Yeah, I mean the action sequence they had with him and Ronda Rousey and that whole thing with his accent and everything, I loved that fight scene so much.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey was in one, wasn't she? Mickey Rourke was in one.
First or second one, yeah.
I may need to watch these movies. They sound awful, but I may watch them anyway.
Okay, so the first one's all right. The weird thing with the first Expendables film is like Mickey Rourke had just come off The Wrestler, where he was like nominated for an Oscar and all this stuff. And then they were like, there's this one scene with Mickey Rourke where he gives this monologue and, you know, it's amazing acting and the rest of it's an okay action film and that. The second one, it was just like, we're bringing Chuck Norris in this to do Chuck Norris jokes, you know. But like the Van Damme took it really seriously and like the action storyline, when it wasn't being silly, it was great because they had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Bruce Willis in the one shot, just like firing guns. And then what was it? Like Arnold goes, it's like, just stay there, I'll be, and before he can finish it, Bruce Willis knows.
You've been back enough.
No, you stand, you've been back enough. I'll be back. And then Arnold goes, yippee-ki-yay. And it's like, this is what the film needed to be. It's
like a fan movie.
Just an entire meme.
Yeah.
And the third one wasn't as good. Like the third one genuinely wasn't as good, but I'm excited for the Expendables.
Is Steven Seagal going to be? Has Steven Seagal been in any of those?
No, Steven Seagal, he's like living with Vladimir Putin as his living wife. It's really weird.
Oh, that's right.
I don't quite understand what happened to Steven Seagal.
He had a terrible career, made some shit movies, and
I've definitely said about it before, but I still haven't actually made the article because I just need to get every single movie poster. I'm gonna bring it up. This is why we're on StreamYard. So I'm gonna bring up Steven Seagal movie posters. Steven Seagal.
Oh no, it's not the neck fat again. Oh no.
It's this. There is a conspiracy theory. Steven Seagal, up until about 1998, he was on movie posters and it was fine. But for some reason, he hides his chin and his lower neck thereafter, and it's weirdly photoshopped. And I'm going to show you guys, and this isn't some body shaming thing. It's just an observation. If he had a medical condition, if whatever it was, I don't understand. But look, so you see early films, and it's like, well, his neck's a bit shadowy, whatever. But let's see if we can find something that's a bit more. Eventually, he decided to grow the goatee, which just hid all. But it's so many of the films. Look, he's hiding from his chin. He's hiding his chin, right? Like there's an early one. You can see his chin, his neck, the whole thing. But then it's like suddenly you either get dark shadows. Let's see what else we got. Or these ones where he's weirdly photoshopped. I just can't explain it. Like
every movie after 2012.
I have never heard this, but I'm living for it right now.
But it just like that. There's so many of these. Look, that is what that is not his face on that body. What has gone on there?
In that sniper movie, you have to watch him hold the gun, and it's like it was kind of painful. It was like, oh damn, like where he's like in the military and the shoulder of or where the shoulder's supposed to go. It's just like it's not in his shoulder or the barrel, and he's just like kind of like holding it a little bit lazily. And it's just I don't know. It's like where's the effort, man? Come on.
Here's
bear with me, guys.
I think I probably would have shared this. Is that one time when they were at Stallone's party, Van Damme and Steven Seagal had like a little bit back and forth then because Steven Seagal was calling other martial arts actors not real fighters, and then he would take them on easily. But then Van Damme actually went up to him and challenged him to a fight. They said, "Let's go on the street, let's fight."
That's the fight I want to see.
And then Steven Seagal did it. And the only announcer of this to Stallone was the one who it was at Stallone's party, and he was the one who confirmed it. But Steven Seagal's like, that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, so guys, indulge me 1 second. I know I'm weirdly obsessed with this because I bring it up like every 2 months. So, like, here is the Wikipedia page, Steven Seagal. So when we get to Glimmer Man, you'll see that. Okay, so I know it's small on the screen. I wish I could zoom in, but it's like his face is weird and it's blue. This comes up so often. Fire down below, his face is weird and blue, and you don't see anything below his bottom lip. And then My Giant, I don't think he's properly in that. Yeah, so it's just a cameo. The Patriot, he's got the logo over his bottom of his chin or whatever, his neck. So that one he's not. Exit Wounds. He's weird and he's blue. What is with these posters? Ticker. Okay, well, look, Ticker. You only see him through the background and you only see him to his bottom lip. And look, we won't go through all of these because I feel like I've almost made my point here. So there, he's weirdly photoshopped. So it's like, once again, the principle stays. The Foreigner. Now he starts to have his arm covering underneath his chin. And it goes between him being blue or a gun covering his chin every single time. But yeah, that's my weird observation that I've had for 20 years.
Poor guy's insecure.
About it. Yeah.
Wow.
He has hyperthyroidism. He said it in.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
he appeared in the Jesse and Ken, the Karate Nerds channel, who's an actual karate expert who went to meet Steven Seagal, and a lot of secrets that he actually said. And the one thing that he was I think he's insecure. You can tell from that, but he finally revealed the reason why he wasn't able to go back to his thin look is because he has a condition and he can't
That
really
makes sense.
go back to it.
And and like I'm completely appreciative of that. But just as time goes on, there's ones where it's clearly they've added his face. Okay, this might be it. Shadow Man. Let's see if I can bring up the movie poster of this, because this one in particular. Can I click on this? This is as big as it goes. Now, here's the thing. Now I'm going to point this out. I know it's very small on the screen. I don't know. Can you see my mouse move? You can, can't you?
Yep.
Right. So if you look at his jacket, the light is coming from this side, and then if you look at his face, the light is coming from this side. So it's not his body, or these were two different photos. And it was this level of stuff where it was like the early noughties, and I'd go in and I'd always pick, the new Steven Skull DVD or like VHS, and I'd be excited. And I'd be like, there's something wrong with all of these pictures. And yeah, anyway, I've gone on about this far too much now. I do appreciate that.
Agreed. I think we should all get a bonus point for listening to you go off on Steven Seagal for 10 minutes.
Like, it's either this or we'll bring up Henry Cavill again.
Oh,
Right.
God, no.
Which cat has something to say?
But the one thing about Steven Seagal is that Stallone wanted him in the Expendable movies, in the second one at least. But when Van Damme was doing it, Steven Seagal didn't want to do it. But Van Damme was like, in all the interviews, he's like, he doesn't like me, but I like him very much. I want him in this movie. Please bring him in this movie.
Yeah.
Either he wants a real fight, maybe that's why he's asking for it. But like Van Damme he claimed to be a big fan of Steven Seagal. But what I'll say is that in the first movie, the first movie was not really the lead into that action movie fun stuff yet, because they didn't think like it's Arnold's the one who's playing the action movie. They were still playing it as a relative plot. But even in that, still you had moments where Stallone was fighting Stone Cold, and they made it like Stone Cold can beat Stallone. And then when Terry Crews comes and asks Stallone, like, what have you been doing? Getting my ass kicked. And then Stallone couldn't fight Stone Cold. They deployed Randy Couture, former UFC heavyweight champion, and he's the one who beats Stone Cold. I like that dynamic where they did like, oh yeah, the actor can't beat the wrestler, but the wrestler can beat by the MMA guy. We did the mental math.
Well, the interesting trivia is Stone Cold Steve Austin broke Sylvester Stallone's neck for real in that film.
Holy cow.
Yes.
Actually, that's a really incredible piece of trivia. They were laying it in, and as they slammed against something, he like fractured something in his neck.
What are they going to cast Hulk Hogan in the Expendables?
What do you mean to cast Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill, you're right, he is ripe for...
I mean, it's difficult for him to have a career anywhere now because he's just like difficult. Like, I'm sorry, Henry Cavill. Like, I like you and all, but he's been like, no, you're not Superman. No, you're not The Witcher. It's like, ah.
I think he did a film with Guy Ritchie recently, and he spoke very fondly about it. It hasn't come out yet. But again, the Warhammer thing was also going on. But I also feel like in his favorite nerd projects, I think he would fare really good as an administrator more than a guy who's playing it, because like he wants a lot of things to be very faithful and stuff like that. In that administrative position, you can't have that much power, and I think that's good for him.
Well, like lots of actors in Hollywood end up like producing something. All he needs to do is get that producer credit, and then he can shepherd it the way he wants.
I think that's what they are aiming for Warhammer. But again, I always feel that this is going to be his first thing, and he's like came off this like a big chip on his shoulder where he has to prove himself that he could be like what the fans really want and stuff like that. And he's doing this with Amazon, and I'm not really sure how much leeway he's going to have. Either if it's like the same thing with Netflix where they will use his face as a thing and they will just do his own thing, or will he actually have a good administrative position where he can actually have a word and say. So it's a little 50-50 on for me.
Wow. But yeah, guys, a piece of news here that I just looked up to see if there's stuff that we haven't discussed. Apparently, after 6 weeks, Oppenheimer has beat Barbie at the box office.
Wow.
So it's taken 6 weeks.
Because people didn't have any tickets to Oppenheimer.
But like everyone has seen Barbie now, so that's why it's finally happened.
I will
And
say, a Nolan film I can watch 4 or 5 times over, and there's something new every time.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
I feel
haven't seen
about,
Barbie yet. I'm a little bit scared to go to the theater.
I have to go see it too. I want to see Barbie.
it's the highest
I'll-
grossing
Great.
film this year so far. It beat out Super Mario Brothers last week, the week before.
Barbie is
Wow.
great. I saw it twice in the theaters.
Wow. Was it pink? Like I saw like a lot of reviewers when they were about to go, like the theater's pink, and they're like, I expected the movie's going to be this pink, but I didn't expect the theater was
The
going to
theater
be this pink.
was super pink when I went to see it with my friends on the second night after it came out. So I live in a small town in Virginia where there's very, very few things to do, unfortunately. So going to the movies is kind of a thing that you do a lot. So when I swear I was the only dude my age in the theater, you know?
Yeah.
So it was fun. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. To the point that I went to see it again with my nieces a couple weeks after that. So
I should take my niece. Thank you for the idea.
For security.
Is she the one that you still need to give the Barbie to that you had?
No, she got the Barbie. She
Oh.
got the Barbie.
Wow.
Good job.
What was I going to say, guys? A couple of things I've seen this week. They may not be particularly new. One might be. I don't know.
Go on, guys. Sorry.
Okay, Tim.
Sorry.
Bye,
dude.
Tim.
Take
Bye.
care, man. Have you guys seen the new Bird Box film on Netflix? Well, I
no.
don't know if it's been
I
out
know the
long.
film. I know.
Yeah,
the film.
there's a second Bird Box called Bird Box Barcelona, and I think it's literally a dubbed film. I think it's a Spanish language film, and it's
Would
like
you
a
like me to watch it
Bird
in
Box.
Spanish and tell you if it's
So is it a remake of the first one, or is it supposed to be separate?
It's separate. Like obviously, it's not a sequel in as much as it doesn't follow any of the characters from the original. It's separate characters, and it shows like what happens in Barcelona, a different area of obviously the world, to see what what happens with. If you have you all seen the original Bird Box?
Mm-hmm.
I know of it.
It's a good film. Like I won't give any spoilers, especially for the sequel. But I would say what the concept is for the original with Sandra Bullock. For me, that was like the first truly good original film on Netflix.
No,
And even then,
it was. I think the Quiet Place. They basically took the Quiet Place's idea.
Kind of like yes and no. It's one of these films where it's not like The Quiet Place. I think there is another film. There is another film which is a complete rip-off of A Quiet Place.
Yep.
And it's got Stanley
Tucci.
in.
Yep.
Tucci. What is that film?
I think it starts with an S, but I don't remember. I've seen it. It's decent, but
Quiet Place. So I put Stanley Tucci Quiet Place. It's called The Silence. That film is literally A Quiet Place. But Bird Box is a similar-ish concept, but it's like a different thing. Whereas in A Quiet Place, you have to be silent because otherwise these things will hear you. In Bird Box, if you see something that is invisible, some unseen things, people suddenly react, oh my God, do you see that? And it compels them to become suicidal.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that you kind of, instead of having to be quiet, you have to like wear blindfolds to not see these things and try to navigate the world and the people that are in it.
It's a little Lovecraftian idea where, like, if you see the actual like Lovecraft horror, you be stricken with madness, while the truly cultist worshippers, evil people, who are the only people who are able to be still active during that period of time when Cthulhu rises.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, just thinking about it, I would say anyone to get the most out of Bird Box Barcelona should watch the original Bird Box first. If you didn't, you might get a bit confused with a couple of things, because I think that not that you have to know the events of the first one, because like I said, it's separate characters, but there's some concepts in the first one which, if you have the knowledge of it, I think you'll get more out the sequel. But they're both on Netflix, so you can watch Bird Box and Bird Box Barcelona. And it's a good film. It's not the greatest film, but it's not bad. It's not a shoddy follow-up. It's a respectable follow-up to it.
I have to rewatch the first one. I remember watching it, but like when you were talking about like what the bad thing or the evil thing or whatever it was,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember exactly what it was.
They
Going back,
didn't specifically mention it either. They were like dropping clues to Lovecraft
Yeah.
horror stuff.
yeah. The one thing that I will say though is when I saw A Quiet Place, the first one in the theater, you could hear a pin drop.
Wow.
It was incredible that like everybody was like almost holding their breaths the
Yeah,
whole
that's
time.
amazing.
It was just unreal.
Have you seen A Quiet Place Part 2?
I have not.
I didn't like it.
It's kind of hard. I mean, like I get the same idea. Survivor things going on, but like we already seen the big sacrifice. The end, the next big sacrifice. Are you gonna kill the mother? No.
Well, I won't give spoilers, but stuff happens in it. But I don't think there's enough interesting stuff happen or any new twists or revelations to really make the second one that worth it. But
to be honest with you, with the Quiet Place aliens, right? Spoilers. I don't think they would have won. Like, I mean, if they actually did rob in this world and we make noises and they start to kill us, I don't think they would have won. I mean,
okay, how do you figure that, Cap?
Well, yeah, we make noises and they can, but like, it's not like they can rip through a tank when it rolls by. They'd be like, tank, we can hear you.
But how many?
Bang.
But how many people are going to be in tanks? I mean, you only have so many tanks.
No, I get it. The first time you're gonna have like major casualties, but like, what happens when a plane goes by? It's gonna make a lot of sound. But these aliens gonna go, sound. We can look up.
Well,
what
yeah.
do
You know what?
Missiles.
It's that classic Mars Attacks maneuver where they just needed to go along the streets with like the gramophones playing loud music, and then they wouldn't have been able to know where the things were, and it would have protected you.
Drop them in a New York City, like the sound thing. If one alien was like, should I kill that, or should I kill that, or should I kill that, or should I kill that?
Yeah, it just would be like the Tasmanian devil. It would just tear up everything.
Yeah. This is true on a lot of things. It's like if you've seen Shaun of the Dead, where they're like, Shaun, how did you get there? It's like, well, they're not that fast. Yeah. In pretty much until they did the Dawn of the Dead remake 28 days later, where zombies could suddenly run. It's like, yeah, well, how did these zombies actually take control? They shouldn't have, perhaps.
That's why, like,
it's like vampires, right? How could vampires, like, or even if it's like, what was that Will Smith vampire film, or any of these things?
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Like, none of these things. It's like, if you can't go out in the sunlight, it's just like, we can put ourselves in a bunker at night, and then we're just going to destroy you in the day because we can go out in the day and at night.
Well, and especially like regular vampires, because one of the things with that mythos is in order for them to get in to get you, you have to invite them in. Yeah. So you just shut the door and you're done. You wait until the morning.
Okay, I've got a big question about that. Is that always a thing, or is that something I only knew about that from
always been a thing.
I don't think it's always.
That's not a real thing with the Bram Stoker's Dracula book. That's pointed out that's not the thing with Dracula.
Now, Cap, when you say that's not a real thing,
with Dracula, it's not a real thing. Dracula doesn't need your invitation, but like other vampire mythos and stuff like that, they do say like you need the invitation, otherwise vampires can't enter.
But was it the movie Let the Right One In? That one definitely touches on it, and I would say it's probably more of the last 30-ish years. As being part of the mythos.
An amazing thing is that it wasn't a thing that sunlight is meant to kill vampires. That was created in the film Nosferatu.
Oh,
the one where he's going up the stairs. That has he suddenly turns like this in the window and the sunlight fades him out. That isn't in the original Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think there's most the concept that they're weaker during the day.
And then there's what fucking Twilight did, which was we glow, we sparkle.
They're unicorns. They're unicorns, not vampires.
Yeah.
But the thing that's interesting though is like the stake through the heart has been pretty much, I think, since the beginning of the mythos. Because if you go back into Eastern Europe and stuff, they've like uncovered bodies that were buried that did have a stake through the heart, or the head was taken off as
I
well.
love the fact that in Adam Sandler movie where they ask like, I think Dracula, they ask me like, what if it's straight through a heart? Who wouldn't that kill? Dracula, who wouldn't that? I love that. But
Right.
earlier on, we were talking about a certain movie. I think for an alien race, I think for zombies, that's why I actually do respect Resident Evil in the fact that like the first Resident Evil animated movies I saw, that zombies were scary. They weren't like the slow zombies. They're like you don't know when they're gonna turn, and when they turn, like boom. And also in World War Z, also did that. Like that makes sense. But with Will Smith movie, they did this thing where it's like it's not the problem with them. The main problem is that it was spreading like a virus that everyone was turning into them. So basically, the problem was that a lot of population died out, and only the immune people stayed human, and they can obviously fight them back. But again, a couple of tanks, I think it can do the job.
Well, the big thing with zombies is pure numbers. So
Yeah.
even though they're they move slow as molasses, if you've got 600 of them coming after you,
There's the old adage: would you rather fight 10, what is it, 10 horse sized goblins or one goblin sized horse?
or one what was it? One Tyrannosaurus-sized duck, or
Yeah, that's what it is.
10,000
It's
duck-sized Tyrannosaurus.
1 horse sized duck or 10 duck sized horses.
Interesting that you say that, Nick, with the goblins thing. There's an anime. It's a very controversial anime, mainly because of the first episode. They kind of depict the fantasy aspect very violently, and the stuff happens. They do kind of do with the goblins thing, like everything in fantasy, you assume like goblins are the weakest thing, but like their numbers is really scary when you think about it. And they depict that like the first episode's on your face, and the first episode when you watch Goblin Theory, you're gonna be like, you did not expect it.
Well, that's like if any of you played StarCraft,
Yes.
the Zerg, yeah, they multiply like mad, and they just, even though they're all fairly weak, they just overwhelm with numbers.
That's the thing with Warhammer they did was pretty good as well. The orcs, they're technically mushrooms. I mean, they don't like bite and mutate. Like if they die, they release spores and then boom, orcs. So they just take over worlds like masses. But the thing is that the orcs are really stupid. If they wanted to, they can take over the 40K universe, but they can't because they're kind of stupid. But also has psychic powers. It makes an interesting dynamic. They make there's a British actor, right, who's like the football player who turned British actor. He always plays this tough guys and also mostly in comedic roles.
Oh, Vinnie Jones.
Yes, they turned every orc into that guy.
Wow. Okay, guys, look, we've got just a few minutes until I'm gonna have to switch things over to the Extreme Improv Extreme show. But let's do a quick guessing game. So let's do a guessing game. Right, Nick, what would you like to guess? A film, character, TV show, movie, book? Probably not a book because I'll have to look it up.
Let's do a movie.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up a random movie and you'll get 1 minute to ask me as many yes/no questions as you can to try to guess what it is. 1 second whilst I bring up the suggestion generator and then we have a go.
I love the fact that whenever we choose book, we can get all the details that we wanted to, but we still don't know the goddamn book, so we can get the details.
Yeah. Okay, Nick, your time starts now.
Is it an action movie?
Yes.
Is it The Expendables?
No.
Does it have Van Damme?
No.
Schwarzenegger?
No.
Stallone?
No.
Is the protagonist male?
Yes.
Bruce Willis?
No.
Dolph Lundgren?
No.
Ralph Macchio?
No. I wish.
Pacino? De Niro?
No.
Your mom?
Ooh. I don't have a mom. I have a mum.
I tell you, from the 2000s.
Yes,
Actually, from the 2000s.
that is time. Cap, handing over to you. Go.
Is it Brendan Fraser film? Is it a Brendan
No.
Fraser film? Ah, damn, it would have been nice if it was. Is it Will Smith?
No. My God.
Is it Steven Seagal?
Ask some other types of questions.
Is it action/comedy?
Not especially. It's more action. It might have a bit of humor, but it wouldn't ever be called a comedy.
Is it a Michael Bay film?
Yes.
Ooh, is it Transformers?
Yes, it is. Jeez. Oh, Cap, how did you do that? Like,
I
there
mean,
was-
2000s action film. Who is that?
Yeah, okay, fair
It
play.
could
Fair
have
play.
been
I was
the
going to be
Ninja
like,
Turtles.
there was nothing. There was no clues. And you're like, is it Michael Bay? I was like, yeah. Okay. Cap, you actually get to start the next one. What would you like to guess?
You said no book, but I did want to torture. But let's go with the TV series.
Okay, let's see what we've got. Oh, shall I go? I'll choose something which you got a chance on.
Oh, please be a cartoon.
So you're not seeing Doctor Who?
Okay. Let's see.
Please be a cartoon in the 2000s.
Okay, and go.
Is it an animated series?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Was it in the 2000s?
Yeah, and even before then.
Oh, in the 90s as well. Was it Disney?
No.
Warner Brothers?
No.
Cartoon Network?
No.
Nickelodeon?
No, it's not Nick.
Oh, we ran out of all
What,
the.
it's not me?
It's not you, Nick.
Is it an action TV series?
Action?
Yeah.
Not especially.
Is it fantasy?
No.
Is it sci-fi?
No.
Ooh. Is it Barney type thing?
No, that's not animated.
I believe
Like,
it's something for
very,
education.
very childish. Is that like that?
It's not very childish.
It's not Disney. Ooh, 90s. Is it a superhero?
No.
Is it Archie?
No, and that is time. Gerald, handing over to you. Go.
No!
So I know it's animated, but does it have like normal human people in it?
Yeah.
Oh, anyone who knew it?
Does is it comedy?
Yes.
Has it been made into a TV show as well? Or
It
sorry,
is
a
a TV show.
movie?
Yes, it has been made into a movie.
I definitely know what it is.
Despicable Me? Or
No.
Is it Minions?
No.
It was in the 90s as well.
Is it related to Star Wars?
No.
Is it The Simpsons?
No.
Family Guy?
No, it's not Family Guy. At his time, Nick, handing over to you. Go.
Beavis and Butthead.
No.
Ren and Stimpy.
No.
Doug.
No.
Was it on MTV?
No.
So it's not Aeon Flux, Beavis and Butthead, Doug. Not really.
To the absolute best of my knowledge, it's not an MTV show.
What's it? Is it on Adult Swim?
It might be. I don't know. We're in a different continent. I don't know these channels.
I like
That's
that
not-
explanation.
I don't think so.
Aqua Team Hunger First?
No. No.
I don't know. Robot Chicken.
No.
It's a good guess.
Thundercats.
No. Oh, that's time. That's time, guys. You're going to kick
It's not a
yourself.
comedy.
It is
not intentional.
okay, guys. Yeah. It was South Park, guys. South Park.
That's what I was going to guess after.
Yeah. Okay. So, Gerald, last one. What would you like to guess?
I'll do movie.
Okay. And go.
Action,
Yeah, it has action, but it wouldn't be called action.
horror,
No,
comedy,
no.
sci-fi,
Yeah, but at the same time, it may not be called that either. But it absolutely is.
drama.
No, it's not drama. Go with sci-fi, but some people might call it something else.
Does it have dinosaurs in it?
No, it does not.
I learned from last time. So when you say science fiction, does it have like space stuff in it?
Yes, it has a lot of space stuff.
Is it since the 2000s?
No.
Is it part of a more than one
Yes.
alien?
No.
Aliens?
No. That is time. Nick, over to you.
Is it Star Wars?
Yes.
New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
Empire Strikes Back. There you go, Nick. You
Best
take the
one.
point. Okay, and that is time. And with that, Nick, you actually do take it, and you are this week's Geek of the Week. Well done. Well done.
Woohoo!
So let's find out where we can find everyone on social media. If we can do this quick, guys, because I need to jump off to start the other show because it's on Zoom. Ugh. But where can we find you, Capelthave?
You can find me on Sword Beats, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. Not these ones. They are not puppets. They're dangerous. It's Sword Beats on YouTube, TikTok, and on Facebook page as well. But on Facebook page, you just get memes. So check me out there, and you can also find me here on numerous shows.
Okay, Gerald, where can the people find you?
Instagram at Gerald Geek, and here.
Okay, fabulous. Nick, where can the people find you?
Twitter at Instev. Right there.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. My name is David Psadik. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll be honest, I don't like that I've done this layout thing. Oh, look, can I do this? There's like different layouts you can do. I always forget to play with these. Anyway. I don't like any of these. Right, okay, so until next time, make sure you smash that subscribe button on youtube.com/extreme improv or the dedicated Geek Battle YouTube channel. So from me, from everyone else, stay safe, always stay extreme, and ciao for now. Boom. And we are off the air.